Hey ladies, do you feel like you are constantly chasing validation? Like no matter what you do or what you have, it's never enough. I completely get it. I've been there too, and truthfully, I still get pulled back into that loop often. But the difference now is that I understand and know self-worth is not something that I have to earn from the outside through validation, through appearances or people pleasing, or by being the good girl. My nervous system is still unlearning the years of conditioning, and I'm still peeling back the layers of what isn't me. But what I've come to learn is that true self-worth is built from within by aligning your life with your core values. So in today's video, I'm going to go through what core values are, how they develop, and why living in alignment with them is the real key to lasting self-worth. So our core values are our deeply held beliefs that shape how we view the world, and they guide our decisions based on what we think is important. And they're like our inner compass. When we live according to them, we feel grounded, empowered, and in integrity. Our values are formed in our childhood based off our influences and our environment, and they evolve over time as we take on more experiences that we either want to repeat or don't want to repeat. Steve Andreas, who is a really renowned psychologist and praised in neurolinguistic programming, which is what neurotransformational therapy is adapted from, states that values are defined as an experience that is important to us. Essentially, we are driven to recreate the emotional experience again. For example, if you have a lot of cherished memories with family when you were younger, you're likely going to seek out experiences with family in your adult life. So how do core values relate to our self-worth? When we feel disconnected from our values, or we're living in accordance to someone else's values, we will feel that within. We might feel tired and fatigued, unworthy, and just generally out of alignment. We start outsourcing our value to jobs, to relationships, and to other people's opinions. But when you identify and honor your values, your self-worth becomes internal. You stop asking yourself, am I enough? And you start just knowing that you're enough because you're living in alignment with what's truly important to you. If you have a limiting belief such as, I can't be honest with people without upsetting them, that's going to interfere with if you had a high value of authenticity. And that's where inattention shows up. So if you want to feel whole, it is important to take a look at the values as well as the beliefs surrounding the value. Another important thing to be aware of is when we are actually trying to seek out a value because we're moving away from a negative emotion. For example, let's just say growing up, you did not have a safe, connected family. So you're very motivated to recreate that in your adult life because you want to have that, because you never got that. And that's very powerful. However, the problem is that is a very away from motivation. You're actually moving away from, for example, loneliness. And that might work while you do have the family and everything's fine. But what happens when the kids move out and you get separated, and those negative feelings are going to flood back in because they were always there. You were just trying to move away from them. It's like trying to move away from a dangerous predator in the environment. You have to keep physically moving away from it. So energetically, that's what we're doing when we are doing an away from motivation. So this is why it's important to know your values and then resolve the limiting beliefs as well. Up until very recently, I noticed that I was caught in a very people-pleasing pattern. I honestly didn't really know what my core values were, and I was very largely living on autopilot because I wasn't making decisions from the place within myself that really reflected who I was. But when I did my values work, it felt like coming home to myself. And I realized that freedom, authenticity, and emotional security and safety were my top values. And everything changed when I started making decisions that honored what those values meant to me. As a few examples, I no longer stay in relationships that don't feel emotionally safe. And that one shift alone changed my entire life. You don't need a textbook to figure out what is most important to you, what your values are. You just need to ask yourself a few questions. You can ask yourself, when have I felt the most fulfilled in my life? When was I most motivated recently? And what was I doing and feeling just before that? What makes me feel safe and empowered? And what gets me really upset? What makes me feel like a line is being crossed? Ask yourself, what need of mine was missing in that moment? So all of these questions can point you towards your true values. And once you know them, you can start to build your choices, your relationships, and your goals around them. And that's where your self-worth really starts to take root. If you want to feel more confident, more whole, and more you, it all starts with your values. I have created a free values discovery workbook to help you uncover yours. You can grab it from the link in the description below. And just remember, you don't have to be perfect to be worthy. You just have to be aligned. And that starts with understanding your values.